Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Womcast. It's probably going to be the most scuffed episode of the whole thing. But I'm here with my brother, Tony. Say hi.
Yes, hi.
It's so weird that I can't hear you in my ears, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. I guess the reason why we were kind of looking at doing something like this is... Well, I guess I kind of brought it to you, huh? We kind of talked about it.
Yeah, we kind of talked about just starting something to be able to like document what we're doing and where we're pursuing in life.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, because I feel like I haven't been doing this thing long enough to really like teach anybody about anything. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
I think the best thing to do right now would be more to document like what's going on a daily basis and kind of get a little bit deeper than what I can get on stream, and then of course what you can get on like your social media as well. And yeah, I don't know.
No, I think that's dope, man. I think that like the thing that's so funny is everybody wants to be the expert so early on. They're like, oh, I want to be, an inspirational speaker. I want to be the expert at something, but they don't have the years behind them to do it. And so I think this is just a great outlet for us to go, hey, this is what I'm learning, this is what I'm seeing, and this is kind of cool. Like, this is what we're pursuing in life, this is where we came from.
Yeah.
And who knows where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think what's cool about it too is even people not pursuing like content creation, but pursuing something that they believe in, right? Like whether it's like trying to create a business or trying to do whatever, I think they can relate with kind of some of the things that we probably go through on a daily basis, or doubting or whatever it is, the craziness. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that. But before we kind of get into all the craziness, I want to see how well you know me as a brother.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
I feel like I'm gonna be able to answer a lot of these. But
I honestly just copy and pasted some questions from the internet, so I don't know if it's gonna be like that crazy amazing.
Okay.
The questions are gonna be that great. Sorry, we got something running across the screen right now, and it's gonna be really confusing for people on YouTube. So I probably should close that. Hold on one second. I think it's this one, somewhere around here. Oh, here it is. Cool. Okay, so first question. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
What was their most prized childhood possession?
Oh my gosh. If I were to say most prized childhood possession, like for both of us, I think it was our gaming systems. Like if I were to think about it like Xboxes, like the original Xboxes, we each had our own. That was pretty prized back in the day.
That's funny that you said, because that's exactly what I thought. Like,
really?
Honestly, like I was thinking, I'm like, probably the most prized possession would be anything video games at that point.
Yeah.
In childhood. I don't know about, maybe high school, like a skateboard or something like that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Realistically, like childhood, it was, did nonstop played video games.
No, literally, we would stay up sometimes till 5 a.m. in the morning, and my mom would come out to get ready for work the next day. And she would see us there playing, and she would just lose her mind. She'd be like, "What? You're still awake? What?"
The thing my mom used to always say is she used to come out and be like, "This is a disaster," like as if there's nothing else in the world that could have been worse than that moment. Like, this is an absolute disaster. It's like, I think you could probably find some better words than a disaster, like the worst thing ever.
No, yeah, but all seriously though, my mom, she was a single mom for years for us and stuff like that. She was amazing, but it was just funny because just God bless her soul, we were staying up, till 5 a.m. back in the day. We used to play Ghost Recon competitively. Yes, there was a competitive scene for Ghost Recon.
Yeah,
Advanced Warfighter.
And competitively is lightly said.
Yeah, very lightly.
Sure. It was very light. We played some game battles.
We were on game battles.
We had an account on game battles, and we played like a couple like matches.
Yeah, no, we did. And a couple tournaments, a little here and there,
Yeah. Okay, ready for another question?
Yeah, let's go. Hit me with that one.
This is something that like I was actually kind of scared to ask. I feel like it's kind of gonna backfire on me. But the second question is, what did they do as a little kid that was super embarrassing?
What did you do that's super embarrassing? You know what? It's funny is like, it's what you do now on stream. Like you do like weird voices. You literally, what he would do is he would literally like just jump around and just start like dancing, yelling random screeching noises. It was like I don't even know how to tell the story of that because it was literally just like every so random you would just like do just like weird stuff that just made no sense to me. So, and now you're doing it on stream.
Well, yeah, that is kind of funny because when I used to live with Tony and his wife Cammie before like I was even married or anything like that, back in our hometown. And you can tell the story of what like Cammie told you, I guess.
Well, yeah, like, so my wife comes home from work one day, and I think this is like literally like, this is a long time ago. It was like 8 years ago.
Was
Almost.
that already 8 years
Like,
ago?
7 or 8
That's
years ago.
crazy, dude.
And like we'd like come home, and Nick thought he was the only one in the house, and so he would literally like be just jumping around like making noises. Like, I don't know if he just got out of the shower or what, but he was like dancing around. He thought he was the only one home. My wife would come home and be like, "What is actually happening right now?"
I don't know what it is, man. I think I just try to make myself laugh. I think a lot of times, like when I come home and stuff,
Yeah.
like especially when I was back in like, because that was when I was in high school. We were all living with my dad.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
And that was another time we were living together, and then we lived together also like in a condo, and then now we live together here. But yeah, dude, I would come home and just be like all hopped up with energy and just absolutely just go. I still do that same thing. Like today, I'll do something stupid in the mirror, and I'll be like, "Why am I doing this?" Right? I don't know what I'm doing, but it's just like it just cracks me up. It makes life a little bit easier for me.
Well, that reminds me too of like I have a really embarrassing story of yours, real quick, that I can tell.
Oh,
It's like
frick, dude.
it's
I don't
like
know what it
really
is.
good because we actually haven't talked about this story in a long time. And I don't know if you're gonna remember this story
Okay.
at all.
All right.
So this is a fresh one for the stream listeners. So when we were living with my dad, so like my dad, like it was me and my wife. We just moved back from Australia because we lived there internationally for about like 2 years, and we had just moved back, and we were living all in the same house. And there was this room downstairs that sometimes Nick would sleep in that had like a little futon. And then if the office had like
I think I know where you're going with
had
this.
like a window that looked out into the rest of the like house, like the door was like just covered with window panes. And so one night, like me and my wife were just like like not tired at all, whatever. And so we decided to come downstairs and like
Okay, and I remember this being at like 1 in the morning, like
really
2 in the
late. This is,
morning.
like really late. We just couldn't sleep. And so like we literally got up and we come downstairs and we're like, let's scare Nick. We're like, how can we scare Nick? So he's in this room and the lights are all on in the room, so he can't see through the glass because there's a reflection of the glass door. So we just start like kind of tapping on the glass, reaching our hand out, tapping the glass, and he would turn off the light in there to like be able to see outside better, and then he would like not see anything. He'd be like, okay, maybe it was just something. So he turns his light back on. He can't see out there, and we tap the window, and he would just like, what the frick? He like turned off his thing. We like started moving the doorknob of the front door just to scare you. So then eventually what happened was he turns off the lights, and then I knew that, or he turned back on the lights, and I knew when he turned the light back on, I reached my hand and showed my hand touching, and he was like, what the?
I'll be honest with you. I did not say flip at that moment.
No,
Like,
literally scared, terrified. You thought we were getting broken into.
when I saw that, like, because I remember that it didn't start there for me. Why that was so scary. That same thing that happened, I just pictured happening for a long time. And then like it was literally a room where it just looked out into the like front door area where like you would be the first person that goes down if somebody comes in, kind of a thing. And so every now and again I would just feel something like watching me or like that kind of stuff, you know, that's kind of normal stuff. And I'm like looking, I'm like, all of a sudden this starts happening. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And it's like 1 a.m. There's no way it's my brother and sister-in-law like screwing with me at 1 a.m. That's just ridiculous. Like, and it absolutely was. Dude, I was that's actually like, cause I guess like, it's not like a super embarrassing side for me. Like that's not embarrassing for me, but it was just like, they bring it up all the time now.
You were legitimately terrified. Like, I feel like
I
you
was
were legitimately scared. Like,
dude, if they would have walked in, I think I had a knife in there. I literally would have stabbed them. It would have been freaking awesome. Not awesome at all. I want you to tell one other story, and then maybe I'll ask like one more of these questions, but I think you know the story and you needed to tell like about
okay.
Probably one of the most like defining stories for us as brothers,
Okay.
and the story that gets talked about the most. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about. Where you assaulted me?
Yeah, absolutely. Where I assaulted you and almost killed you.
Yes, my brother almost kills me. Like, we were playing like basketball inside the house, which already is a recipe for not great things to happen. But it was a little kid basketball set, and we got it for Christmas, I think it was. And what ended up happening was like I was just a bigger brother to him, and so I would just dominate him. Like just physically, I'm way taller than him at this point, like bigger than him. I just can literally throw him around like a rag doll. So I would just stiff arm him, like just do stupid stuff that was like ultimate basketball stuff. And eventually Nick had kind of like had enough. I think you'd had enough of just being.
Yeah, it was
like,
a breaking point for sure.
There was like a point you're just like, I've had enough of this.
Well, like
fool.
I don't know if you guys know about like losing to a brother or losing to a sibling. Like if it happens enough, there's like something that wells up inside of you that just like you got to figure out any way to win.
Yeah, you're
like there's no
I have to win. Like the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the moment in the movie where the underdog like has the motivational speech.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd's chanting Rudy, Rudy. It's just like that's the moment. And Nick just all of a sudden turns and just stiffs up on me, just pushes me. Like you, I don't know how you mustered that force out of that little body at that time, but just mustered all force he could, pushes me over. And literally, I go flying back. I hit my head on a tile step. Like, our floor had a tile step down into a carpeted living room, sunken living room. And the tile step hit my head on the back of it. I am drenched in blood. My head is covered in blood. My hand, I reach back. My hand is completely covered in blood.
Yeah.
I start screaming bloody murder. Because I'm like a child at this time. I mean, we're like kids. Like, we're like, what?
Yeah.
10, 11,
And then cut to my perspective here. So I see that all I see is like him lift his hand like this. And there's blood all over his hand. Like, it's just like full of blood. And like any good brother, like anyone who is like passionate about like, hey man, we're brothers and you know, I love you. I ran away immediately. So like I saw the blood. I ran away immediately. I was small enough at the time to go into a cupboard and hide. And so I went and hid in a cupboard because I just didn't know what was going to happen next.
You literally left me to bleed out on the carpet by myself.
Luckily, my dad was home and didn't leave us all alone. And my brother was screaming bloody murder, so there's no way he could not hear him.
Yeah, we were on the baseball practice.
Oh yeah, we were just about to leave to a baseball practice, which my dad was the coach at.
And so he was just like,
and so he had to go cancel like the everything. It's just, I don't know. I just think it's funny. Like, and the reason why I kind of want to go into this piece of it is kind of so you guys kind of see. Through the years, my brother and I have been like so close. So like a lot of siblings, they end up having maybe like a good relationship with their siblings, but they've always had fought and stuff like that. My brother and I have had our moments, but overall we've been really like good friends, but also like kind of like each other's motivators and like cheerleaders in a lot of ways, without the outfits and stuff. So it's but it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to see that relationship grow and grow, but also like I didn't think we were gonna like not end up, but I didn't think we were gonna live together again. Like, I just didn't think that was gonna happen. Like we enjoyed our time together. Like we had some moments. Like I was pretty young living with them, and so we had some moments where it just didn't work out that great. But we never thought this would happen. Kind of going into this area now. We're gonna talk about that next, but I don't know. I think it's just a really powerful thing that we get to sit here and talk about life and kind of go over now. And it's an excuse for us to get together and kind of talk about how our weeks are going or talk about how our projects are going, but also encourage each other to keep moving. And I think that's something that people need to hear, because if you are somebody who wants to pursue, like whether it's something creative or whether it's something like a business, or you just want to start something that didn't exist and just bring it from nothing, right? You need to hear that, like, you got to have people in your corner. And I think it's something that is super powerful. And so there's kind of a fun way to show that, but also like my brother and I, you guys need to know, are so freaking close and just so excited to, like, anytime he has a win, I'm excited. And anytime I have a win, he's stoked. Like we're like the first people that we tell, other than our wives or whatever. And so, or whatever, our wives.
Oh my God. So
whatever, dude. I guess they get in the way, but it's whatever. So, I guess, yeah, I don't need to ask you more of those questions. So I think that's kind of the point, but I kind of want to talk about where we are now, like what the heck we are now, like how would we define that? Because that's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but also where we kind of come from. So I guess for you, we don't have to talk about, I was born and we don't have to talk about all that crap, like whatever. Yeah. My brother and I, we both grew up with a single mom. That was a huge thing for us. And that really like impacted us a lot. We're not gonna go too deep into that yet. I don't think we need to go into that side of it. We're gonna kind of stay on more on the professional side, but that centerpiece you guys do need to know. Like that kind of really impacted us. And then our dad ended up coming back into our life a little bit later. So a little bit of like the history of like, I guess that's kind of the biggest things we really went through as kids. But professionally, like where did you kind of start? Like how did it line up to this point for you, and like kind of what made you kind of take a step and kind of like go out there and say like, this is what I should do, you know?
Right. No, like I started very much in the church world, as you know,
Yep.
In the church space, and went to college for that, and went to leadership college to learn how to be a pastor and to really do those things, and pursued that with all my heart. And so ever since I was 16, pretty much I knew that's what I wanted to do, and got on staff at a church, worked there for about 5 years, did all that, ended up moving on from that church and just entering a season where I didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
You know, like honestly, over the last like 2-3 years before like this, before even 2020 and stuff like that, just entering a place of like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Like that's a daunting question. Like, and if it like, I don't know if anybody else is in that season or has had seasons like that, but just reaching that point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. You know, so I actually went into gaming for a bit, did streaming, did competitive Overwatch stuff a little bit, which I really, really loved. That was so much fun. So I still love that game Overwatch, but pursued that for a while, and a little bit of streaming in there too. And then eventually landing in this place that really was my first love. Like video was kind of my first love. Like ever since I was a kid, like almost anything I did, I can remember like, oh, there was like a video thing I did when I was like 12 or when I was 13. Like if you remember, we made that little like video with our dog at that point with like the exercise ball.
That's funny, dude. That's like the first video we ever made.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the first like videos I ever made. Yeah.
Because my brother, it was, we had this dog named Buddy. He's like the meanest dog ever. We'll just tell us really quick, but we had this dog named Buddy. He's like literally the meanest dog. He's like half Chihuahua, half Jack Russell Terrier. And he was really scared of a big yoga ball we had. I don't even know where we got that thing, but we had a huge yoga ball, and he was really scared of it. And so we thought it was a great opportunity to like kind of Tony thought it was a great opportunity. I didn't really have anything to do with this, but he thought using one of his school cameras would be a good idea to like shoot a like cinematic video of the ball chasing Buddy down the stairs. And kind of like how Indiana Jones, like the whole scene for Indiana Jones with the balls chasing this dude, in the video, the fear on the dog's eyes.
It was perfect.
He just like, but then it like, you could kind of tell he like, we did a couple takes. He kind of got used to it. He's kind of loving it.
Yeah,
he was chilling.
But no, that's like my first love was video, like making things like that. And even in high school and stuff, did a lot of that. Always even did that with my church, within my church career as well, like doing that. And so, really, found this love within creating content, especially for YouTube and editing video and stuff like that. And I got the amazing opportunity to now work with Think Media, which is an amazing YouTube channel, amazing brand. It's an amazing organization that really helps other people build their brands and business on YouTube. Love it.
So let's kind of you kind of like went over a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole bunch of deep stuff too. Like talk about so Tony and I used to work for the same church, and we're not going to talk about a whole bunch of deep stuff with that. There was some drama with it, but it wasn't too big of a deal now, you know. But we used to work for the same church. I used to do youth stuff and like kind of like some of the music stuff there, working with like high school students, mainly high school and some junior high. And then my brother was like the worship guy there. Like he was like the worship pastor is what it would be called, but it was more called like director or whatever it was. And so he then there was then some like kind of like differences in seeing like where we were going. We had been at that church for like 12 years. And so there was some hurt there, like in terms of when we left. We had been there for 12 years, and then we kind of heard that we weren't really like aligning with some of the vision there, and that kind of sucked. And so for me, at least, and you can talk about your piece. For me, it was a kind of a standstill. Like I literally thought I was going to pursue ministry, and I was going to pursue like being a youth pastor or being like I don't know, something in that space. And that was all I was good at that point, like music and teaching people how to play music and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of all came to a halt. Talk about that moment for you, like when it came to a halt. You don't have to talk about all the details, but
yeah, like so here's the thing.
Or you can, whatever you want.
I'm 28, and so I think it was around when I was 26, 25. And like you said, I've been really, really passionate about building this church and being a part of it. And it was crazy because the more I was doing things and leading things at a caliber and raising up other leaders and developing things, the more that influence began to grow in that church. And really I was really feeling like I was fulfilling what I was really made to do and called to do. And when you get brought in, eventually it came to a standstill in a meeting where a lot of the critique that came at me, which I laugh about it now, it's like actually hilarious, and I'm actually so happy it happened. But a lot of the critique for me was this, is that, when I would say, oh, like, with preaching in particular, and this, you guys might not even be familiar with this space, or like, whatever, I don't care about this, whatever. But for me, it was everything. It was like, I would love to be able to preach one day on stage and do those kind of things and be an influence and an impact for people. And to hear that, like, no, we don't actually want you to do that because you're too positive. Like, that was the main critique, that you're too positive in your communication style and what you want to do was kind of the reason I was given for, like, no, we don't want you to do this and we're not going to let you do this here. And so that was the reason, the thing for me in that moment, my entire life, my entire adult life up into that moment was built up investing years and years and years and years into this place. And so for that moment to hear, like, you're too positive, and consequently saying your voice isn't valued here. Yeah. That's like crazy, man. Like, you sow your life into something.
Yeah. And not to mention, these are, so for you guys to know, like, if you're not like into church, that's not what this is about. We're not talking about you going to church or trying to change you over to our religion or whatever. But realistically, what this is like, what happened here is, like, you got to realize some of the most influential people in our lives, like, we went from like being there for 12 what was it, like 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
And spending like probably around 40 hours a week there before we even like worked there, probably more than that. Just helping with certain things or serving and all kind of stuff. And then for people that we looked up to and we like valued their opinion, to say those kinds of things to us as kind of brothers, it sucked, dude. Like, it really sucked. And it was definitely a standstill. And it wasn't only like, oh, this is our community and this is who we know, but this is like what I do. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
In terms of like leading teams and doing like worship stuff or doing like whatever it was. This is like what we do.
Yeah.
So what the frick do I do now?
Yeah, no, it's not only what's crazy about it is that a normal job, if you say, hey, you're not good enough in these areas, you're not like this, at McDonald's are like, hey, we don't like the way you cook the fries, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go home and not really care what you say about the way I cook fries.
Like, you're like, well, screw you.
Like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Like, but when it's a job like this and something you care so deeply about, it's something different. You're actually losing not only your job, your financial stability, your security. Yeah. You lose your community because your job is tied to that community.
Yeah, that's another piece of it for sure.
You lose like friendships, and not that people are like vindictive or mean or anything, but there's so much attached to this job, not just a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing. I think that, some people might understand that, might relate, maybe not. But like, that's one of the hardest things I think about that transition in that time in life.
Well, yeah. And like for me on that piece,
everything.
Yeah. The community piece was huge because I literally every friend that I had went to like the church that I was working at and the church that I had attended. Every friend that I had. And when this happened, it kind of just like it wasn't that these people were like, oh, screw you, Nick. It wasn't that at all. But realistically, you're just leaving a community, so people aren't going to know you're there. Like, they're not, unless they actively like go after it. And so realistically, I lost every friendship that I had, and you did too.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, some people still we really talk with and stuff, but people that we had worked with for years and then had gone to church with for like 12 years and seen us grow up. And so it was kind of a bummer. It was a huge bummer, and it's like a wind out of your sails moment. And so now talk about where, like, what happened. How did you get out to LA? Like, what was that whole process like?
And like, so we were living in an area that was probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. Yeah. And me and my wife were both just like, what is next? We've spent so many years sewing into this place. What's next? Like you said. And a lot of us kind of felt like we wanted to go back to be a part of the church that we went to college with, which was a church called Hillsong, and we knew they had a campus in LA. Yeah. And then from Australia originally, so we were like, hey, like we'd love to kind of just get with that family again and get and run alongside that. So that's one of our like reasons we moved up here. But we also just felt like I always felt like I had a bigger vision for my life. Yeah. Than what was surrounding me. And where I was located, especially geographically, where I was located. Okay. And I couldn't really put that into words in that season.
Mm.
But in hindsight, that's what I've come to realize is that moving up to LA was just one of those things where I was like, okay, like I'm doing this for a church. But then I started to realize more and more, no, I'm actually doing this because I have a bigger vision. And sometimes I don't know if anybody's like related to this too. And I think you probably can relate to this at some level for you too, is that if you ever try to pursue something that sounds crazy to other people, it'll be nothing like a small town to just drag you down to its level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, bro, I mean, look at me, bro. I play video games and that's my plan.
Yeah.
Like literally people in our, and it's not like it's like a small town, but it has that vibe. Like there's a lot of people there, but it has that vibe. It's basically, it's in Temecula, California. If you guys know where that's at. Some of you think of it as a drive-through city, but legitimately, like people hear about me streaming, like, and I try to block it out as much as possible, but they laugh. Like they're like, Nick had a corporate sales job, like making good freaking money. Like last year, we were like in the triple digits last year, like doing really, really well, and hated life, like absolutely hated life. And I was told that that's how it's just supposed to be. Like you're just supposed to hate life. And it's just crazy to me that I make a switch that's like, hey, I believe in this. I call it the zombie apocalypse theory. I've told you this before.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard it before.
So basically, there's people who prep for the end times of the world, right? There's people, there's zombie apocalypse preppers. There's like doomsday preppers or whatever it is. These people, they collect water. They collect food. They've got a whole storage container in the desert somewhere. They've got this crazy stuff. They have shows about these people. They're like, they're insane. Look at them, right? They're insane.
Crazy people.
And then they're insane until it actually happens, and then everyone's knocking on their door.
Yeah.
And I think about that the same way as like pursuing something that you believe in that people just can't see the vision yet, is you will pursue it and they will think it's ridiculous until it actually happens, and they'll be like, oh, you're a genius. You're just so smart. Oh my God.
And Dave, 25 where I wanted to quit, you were saying this is a stupid idea.
Exactly. Like literally the day before this went well, you were like, oh, look at Nick, or look at Tony, or look at whoever. Look what they're doing. Why are they collecting all that water? And then now they're knocking on the door, and they're like, not that they're like, oh, you're so amazing. Not everyone's gonna do that, but I'm just saying, like, it's more of an encouraging piece. It's not to be like, oh, screw those people. Yeah. It's just more of an encouraging piece. Like they just don't see it yet.
They don't.
You got to keep pushing. You got to keep your head down, and sometimes you got to do tunnel vision. And for me, honestly, I've gone tunnel vision a little too far sometimes, where I just am so isolated.
Right.
I just feel like anyone who's going to talk to me is going to say something negative, or I'm going to take it the wrong way, and so I just isolate myself to protect myself. And it's right, it's not right in some instances, but it's something that's really like, I'm sure anybody who's tried something that's like a bit ridiculous, like for me, like streaming video games and making that a job, and driving for a Lyft after leaving a corporate sales job, like that's like does well for people and creates retirement and all that kind of stuff. And so
no, people literally think you're crazy. And the thing that's crazy about it even more though is that like we tend to let those people and those voices like echo in our minds more than anything. And they literally have zero invested in what you're doing. Exactly. Like they have why? Zero invested in what you're doing. And I can't tell you how important it is to actually like be careful with who you surround. Like you talked about, like you have to be careful with who you let in those dreams, because if you just like tell anybody, any old plain soul about it, they could just literally just come along and just go, that's a stupid idea. Or they, it's just, you have to be careful to surround yourself with people that are going to champion that vision, as much as possible. Yeah.
What's the number one question you get from people when they ask about what you do?
I
didn't ask that question very well, but I'm looking. There's an answer that both of us get asked every time, or there's a question that gets like asked every time.
Yeah, like I think for me, like in more recent times.
No. Like when you were just making YouTube videos and stuff.
When I was just making YouTube videos and stuff, they would just ask me a lot, like, "Oh, and you get money from that?"
Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly.
Like, or how do you get money from that?
Like all of a sudden, when you're doing something like content creation or stuff like that, people just they feel that it's right to be like, well, how much you making?
Yeah, how much? Yeah.
And I go, how much you making? Like what are you making in your job? And they're like, well, that's a little personal.
Dude, that's so
But
funny,
it's funny when it comes over to us.
That's really funny.
Okay, so talk about Think Media, what you're doing now, like flush that out a little bit more. We're at about like 38 minutes right now, cool, so we're getting close, but
So basically what I do now for Think Media, so I got this opportunity to work with this amazing company, and you guys have seen them on YouTube. They're incredible. I actually really loved them, but even before I worked for them. So it's kind of one of the cool things about getting a chance to work there is, you know, I got hired because I just started following his content and kind of modeling, doing what he was saying with how to create YouTube content and applying it to my channel. And then I randomly messaged his team and said, hey, do you need a volunteer for this event in LA you guys are doing? And they were like, yeah, totally. So I came and volunteered, really hit it off with the team, really hit it off with Sean, who's the CEO of it. And he eventually like reached out to me and like asked if I want to be part of the team. And it was pretty cool because I didn't even fill an application for this job. Like hundreds of people, when they go to hire people here at Think Media on our team, hundreds, like 700, 800 applications come in, which is crazy. And they just literally asked me to be part of the team, which I was just like, wait, mind blown. Wait, me? Yeah. Like, I have a YouTube channel that's not even that big yet. You know, I have like all this stuff. But the more I realized, it was like I was actually called and made to do this, like, and to be a part of this team. And basically now what I'm doing is I'm helping editing video content. So like a few of our YouTube videos that have gone out on Think Media. We have a second channel called Think Marketing. Yeah. That I pretty much like edited every piece of content that's come out on that channel. So we have a podcast called the Think Marketing podcast, and like we just talk about how to leverage YouTube and like how to really leverage marketing at a high level online, whether that's within social media, with video, with YouTube, that kind of stuff. And we really kind of drill into some of the like details of marketing. And Think Media is more of our channel about helping you get, you know, the tips and tools you need with cameras and that kind of stuff to help build a YouTube channel. So I edit a lot of that stuff. Just in meetings, help kind of strategize how we're going to do stuff, help shoot the videos as well. We have another guy here, and Nolan, who's in LA here, that will shoot videos. Yeah,
you just came back from one, right? Like literally, Tony came in probably like I literally just came back like 5 minutes before we started.
Literally, I came in 5 minutes. I
was like, whatever, dude. We're just gonna come and talk, so it's all good.
But yeah, so I do a lot of shoots like that, and so we just basically try to make content that's gonna help people take their YouTube channels and their YouTube, you know, just the overall YouTube game forward. So that's basically what we do. It's amazing. I literally love it every day because what's so cool is it's all the gifts and everything that I thought, like within the church context and the church job, that I was like, oh, this is what I'm made to do. Yeah. It actually take it to a whole nother level in what I'm doing now. And I can't tell you how like stoked I am every day to do what I do.
It's funny. Yeah. Cause it's funny you say that, cause there's gotta be like, what I've found with this kind of stuff, when you're starting something, there has to be some sort of centerpiece, right? There's got to be something underlying. Like, what is the why behind it, you know?
No, absolutely.
And so for me, I have nobody telling me what I need to do. I mean, I have a lot of people try to tell me. A lot of people try to tell me what I need to do, which is stressful. But
you mean people in chat? Play with me.
Yeah. But I have nobody like telling me like this is like what you need to do and this is how you need to do it.
Right.
And nobody like do it. You know, like nobody pushing me to do it.
Right.
And so for me, there's got to be some centerpiece, right? And so what I've found, what it is for me and why I want to do like streaming, but not only streaming, but really like content creation on all fields, like in entertainment in that space, is because I really want to impact other people on a deeper level. Like I want to encourage people. I want to motivate people. I want people to be excited, and not in the cheesy sense of like, oh, I'm going to post a motivational quote, but like I want to be a part of their lives to a point where I can just like, because they met me, they're a better person, and because I allow them to be in my life, and I become a better person as well. And I think Twitch is like one of the best places to do that, because you start to, or any streaming platform is really the best place to do that, because you're really like I'm in people's lives daily, like which is so cool, and I get to hear about their wins or their losses or that kind of stuff, and that excites me, I think, more than the possibility of content creation being this like big supporter for me. And I think that's what a lot of people miss. And when they come into the space that we're in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't even consider myself in the space. I'm like starting out in the space, but I think that's what a lot of people miss. And that's why they get burned out. And that's why they worry about, man, I only have this many people watching me, or man, nobody watched my YouTube video, or this, and this, and then they quit.
No, I think it's key. Like your reasons, you have to have your reasons before you get results. Yeah. Like you have to know why you're doing things. Like the big thing for me is within Think Media, one of the things that I'm always reminded of, it's really cool, is that we help people. Like our big vision is to help 10,000 people like create a full-time living on YouTube. Wow. Like, which is kind of a big vision, right? But it's cool because we have all these students that come back and report, like we had this guy on our channel that's like this eye doctor that was just like, oh, I just want to start this channel. And within a year got to 80,000 subscribers, making like just making money off it, but also helping people with eye care and stuff like that, but actually changing people's lives. Like that's some of the most inspiring things. And the biggest reasons why is actually like tying it to something bigger than yourself and like putting others before yourself and seeing others' success and getting joy out of that. I love that. Yeah.
And that's a big thing too. I've realized that, like within the field too, is that people love to like discredit other people when they grow. Like,
yeah,
they like are jealous or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, they jealous and they like try to tear other people down.
I've seen that before. Like I'll hear about a creator growing, and then someone else is like, dude, they don't. I should have that viewership. Or I've heard people like legitimately say that, like, or they've said like, oh, I've perused on Twitch and I watch streams. Dude, they don't even deserve that viewership. I'm like, really? Well, they have it.
Yeah,
like, well, they have it, and like, I think a lot of people think tearing somebody else down will bring them more success, and really they got to go back to the centerpiece of like, why do you freaking do this? Is it just to grow and become famous? Because that's a stupid reason to do something. Like to be honest, like to me, like that's a really stupid reason, and it's not a deep enough reason to do it. That can be an underlying reason to have a platform and have people that follow you, but that can't be the main reason.
Yeah.
And so for me, like that's what I've started to realize, and that's what helps me wake up every single freaking day and try to post a video every single day or try to stream every single day and have the same level of passion for it. And I think why it hasn't died off in like 8 months, which is kind of crazy that I've been doing this for 8 months and streaming almost every day, which has been fun. But that's kind of where I think for me, like where I'm kind of at right now. And this in that whole documentation, like, or documenting like spirit and what we want this podcast to be, where I'm at right now is very much a learning phase. And just trying to figure out how can I lead a community the best in my ability. And for me, that it's a lot in the self-care space. Like I really need to take care of myself if I'm going to lead people and inspire people to keep kind of go farther with their life and go like from point A to point Z versus B, you know? And I think for me, that's kind of where I feel like I very much am in that like building stage. I don't think I'll ever get out of a learning stage, but I think I'm very much in a space where I'm trying to learn how to lead people better.
Well, I think what you're doing, and it's so brilliant because, you know, and I'll watch a stream quite regularly or whatever, like popping in and out and stuff, is one of the things I think you've done so brilliantly, and even just this community that you've built, is that you guys are like, it feels like you like this whole community is in it for the long haul. Like I don't feel like this community is just like, oh, like you're just like the hot flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Where, you know, that can be a lot of the trend is like who's the hot one right now, who's the funny one right now, who's the and just jump ship. But when you really begin to build the strength of a community in the true sense of the word, not just because it's the trendy thing to say, like, oh, we have a community, we have, you know, the believers, we have, you know, whatever the names are for the different ones, is, you know, like you're actually building a community that actually cares and talks to each other. And you truly care for, and you would interact and engage with, you know. And I've just heard so many stories about the opposite being the case with creators and whether they have classes they've made or like communities they've built, and it's kind of just like, hey, thanks for your money, and yeah, peace out.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's just cash grabs.
Absolutely.
And so what I think is really cool is that you're actually being able to do life with people and see people through in and out hard seasons. I'm not sure who it was in your chat a while ago that was, you know, with the Australian, like fighting in the fires down there.
Yeah. Yeah. They're still in there. Yeah.
Like, yeah, still going and stuff. It's like, you get to check in regularly and see like how he's doing.
Yeah. He is.
And, yeah. And I think it's really crazy that you can, you know, check in and be like, oh, hey, how is that thing going with your life? How's this? And, you know, obviously sometimes size changes those things. If you get so big, it's hard to deal with everybody. But I think it's really cool that you're building this foundation with people where it's like, hey, I'm not just your streamer, dude. I'm actually your friend.
Yeah.
Like, and I care about your life. And that's something that's like deep. And it's also something that builds a community that's actually healthy as well. So, man, I think I can't wait to see what this community does in a year. Like a year from now, I just think it's going to be insane to see.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And that's exactly like hitting the nail on the head, what I want, like kind of how I envision it and what I want to do. And like tomorrow we got a charity stream, 24 hours. And 24-hour streams are not something that excites me, to be honest.
Yeah,
like 24-hour streams are really, really hard. I did one, and I told everyone, I was like, I'll never do that again.
Yep.
And for me, when I was thinking about the cause of like Australia and what's going on there with the fires and everything, I was just like, dude, like, I can't give a lot of money. Like right now, my financial situation is not ideal, and I can't give a lot of money. I can't do that. But maybe I can empower people to do so. And that's more of my giving in a lot of ways.
Right.
Like I'm going to give some money like within our stream, but my giving piece is just my time. Like I cut back on like Lyft this whole week because I was freaking so worried about the stream.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm never worried about it, dude. Like we're always somehow provided for and it works out. But I think realistically, what I'm kind of looking at is, can I empower people to do something great like that, you know? And can I empower? That's how I measure my success. It's not by my viewer count, it's not by my sub count. It used to be like, that's how I started out. Like that's how you're supposed to measure it, right? And it's just not that anymore. And so, yeah, man, I think we're kind of close to finishing off. But I think in kind of conclusion, that kind of gives like a good space of where we're at. Is there anything else you kind of want to share, or I should share? Or?
I think the big thing is that, like, I don't know. Like, I think the big thing the last couple of years of my life, like, my heart just goes out to people in those seasons.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to find what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what the heck you're supposed to do, or what you're even passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I would just encourage, if that's you, to keep going with the process and keep searching. Don't settle for something. Keep searching for that thing that you've been built to do, you've been made to do, and that's ultimately going to satisfy you, and that's ultimately going to be, you know, whatever that is in life, whether that is being more entrepreneurial or that kind of stuff, or maybe it is working a certain job or this or that, but like actively pursue it, you know. Like, people might think like, oh, it's crowded, like the gaming aspect, right? Because everyone likes gaming and stuff, and like, especially on Twitch and stuff, and people like streaming, people like this or whatever, and you always feel like, oh, it's too crowded, I can never, like, no, like, keep pursuing it, try it.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. And it's not really meant to be like a feel-good thing, because realistically, when you do that, it doesn't mean like sitting on your ass just like doing nothing.
No.
Like you can't just sit there and do, like, literally, it's what I do now is easily 10 times harder than what I did in sales. Now I'm working on my strengths, so I'm excited about it and I'm pumped up, but it's way harder than what I did in sales, because I'm creating a product. I'm actually the product in terms of like, I'm like actually streaming every single day and all that kind of stuff. It's harder to go after the things that you're going to want to do, but you're more pumped up to do it. So it's kind of this balance. And so it doesn't mean just sit there and be like, if you're like younger and you're just, you know, at your parents' house doing nothing, like, do something. And I think that's a great place to kind of end this. And I think that's in the space where we're at right now. Yeah. We're just doing something.
Yeah. We're just
like, we have this saying, my brother and I, because how it works here is he's working on content in his room. I'm working on content in here, and I'll come in and be like, dude, can you check this out? And he's like, dude, it's good. It's good. It's better than good. You're fine. It's better done than perfect.
Yep.
And that's the saying that we've been having. So we're just in the do stage right now. And I think that's kind of a good place to kind of end, because that perfectly documents, I think, where we're at. Is Tony's doing it with Think Media right now, and he's just learning, and he's like editing on a daily basis like crazy, working on projects like crazy. And for me, I'm trying to build something that didn't exist 9 months ago. It's not a baby, okay? I'm not announcing a baby.
Dude, the stream has just been born.
Yeah, the stream has been born. It is my child. It just goes way too far with the analogy.
I'm like, this analogy is way too deep.
No, I think it's a good space, because I think people can hear that and they can feel that if they're kind of somewhere similar. So
totally, I think I can jump into it if you have any questions too.
Yeah, if there's any questions in chat, if you guys have anything, we will open it up for anybody on YouTube. This is kind of like a benefit of being here for the live streams. We record this podcast live, and so if you guys want to ask any questions kind of live, we can answer those. And it'll work out. But we don't expect a whole bunch of questions when we first start out, so no worries. We might have Discord. I don't know if there's any questions in there, but it's right there. It's fine. Why is it important to F the numbers? I put out a video. What they're talking about is I put out a video recently talking about like F the numbers and just not focusing on the numbers especially when you're in streaming or YouTube or stuff like that. You cannot focus on the numbers at first, because you'll be done in a week. And what you need to focus on is creating great content. And it's something that Devin Nash is one of the guys that I watch a lot, who talks about like content creation. And he's got a great YouTube channel. You need to watch it. He talks about people find great content. Like, it just happens. Like, when you create great content, it cannot be alone forever. And so if you perfect creating content and being good at like original, doing it, like I always say, do it big and do it different. If you focus on that and stop focusing on how many subs or how many followers or whatever the frick you have, because you don't have any right now, it's fine. I don't barely have anyone on most of my social medias. If you focus on that number, then you're not going to create anything of worth. Which one is older? Tony's older.
Yes, I'm 28.
Tony's older. Yeah, how old are you?
28.
28. I am 26. Yeah. Where did Mysterious Man get brown jacket? It's a nice jacket.
Yeah, that's his jacket. I think I actually got it for Christmas. Someone gave it to me, so I don't know where this jacket came from, to be honest with you guys.
It's a pretty nice jacket. Why are you wearing glasses? They have no glass in them. They actually do have glass in them. They're blue light glasses. I've been getting random headaches, so we're kind of trying something new. I would look at a screen all day. So I basically, and a moving screen with like Fortnite and gaming and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm wearing glasses. And I think they kind of look nice, actually. I'm feeling myself, but not in a weird way. Why do I have the worst jokes ever? Do you still feel like you are helping youth? ? Because you are. I do, and that's a huge passion of mine. I've actually contemplated doing. I just don't have the time for it, but I've contemplated doing helping out like at my church with youth that I go to now, and or like doing something with like at schools, just kind of being an extra volunteer and stuff. It's something that excites me. I'm passionate about young people. I had some people really like take care of me when I was at that age and going through a lot of stuff, and something I'm passionate about for sure. And I'm glad I get to do that through what I do now. Are we rating Area 51 or what? What do you think?
I don't think it's happening. I hate to put the damper on that, but
yeah.
The memes were
they
great.
tried. Did you see what happened when they tried?
Dude, I saw
there was
that,
like 20 people that showed up because everyone's like, heck no, I'm not doing that.
It's like the classic example though, Nick, of like when people go like, everybody's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Everybody
Everyone and their mom
told me this. Like it's usually a few
it's like it's like when I see a lot of streamers post on their Instagram story, everyone's coming to my, it's like I'm pretty realistic. They're not. Like
I almost want to do, what we should do sometime? We should like do like an Instagram bingo, because like you can do like different spaces. Like one of the spaces would be, all my followers have been asking me, so I made a
Dude, I was going to do a Q&A video for YouTube and we got no questions. I was like, do I just make up questions? Like why did I even post that? I'm embarrassed. Like, I don't know why I posted that. I've had friends do that before. Let me see here. Got to get Butter's glasses. This is basically like same thing. They're blue light glasses. And now seriously, what religion are you? We're Christians. So
yep,
we're just basically non-denominational. I think, I don't know.
Still Christians. That season really changed my faith at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it just was a hard time, but still very much, very much in that faith.
Tony went to college. He went to college out in Australia. I went to college for 3 years and then quit. I went to a Bible college. Tony went to Bible college too. Mm-hmm. And I just never finished because I got a job. I got a job at the church that we were talking about pretty much like 3 years in. And then I was like, I think I'm good. I kind of want to finish it at some point, but it's just not realistic financially for us right now. And it's also something that I don't think I have the time. Like if I really want to pursue this, I don't think I have the time.
Well, and I think here's the thing too is interesting is like college is great. Like, but college, like, and especially for like high school kids listening and stuff, or like even kids, like college is great. Like college is awesome if your job really requires it that you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
But it's also super dangerous in how much money you can end up owing and how much money you can like have to pay for it. Yeah.
Student loans are a lie. So like if you're younger, like, and people just tell you like, oh, you're supposed to have student loans. Like that's not the truth. Like, like, and that will actually like really slow down your life. For me, I got out without loans, which was really lucky and thankful to my dad. Really,
me too.
Like he saved a lot of money for us and was really smart. But you don't have to go to the 4-year that's $50,000 a year, and it's just not the truth. But also like know that college is great, and I think college is a great plan. I think I had a lot of students when I was working with like high school always tell me, I don't want to go to college and this and this. I was like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. I just don't want to go to school. I'm like, well, if you're just going to sit on your freaking rump all day and just suck on the teat that is your parents' ATM, like their freaking bank account, that's not going to work, because actually not going to college, you got to work twice as hard. It's just the reality of it.
It is.
Because they don't get these free passes of people like, oh, you go to college? You must be a great person. Here, I'll hire you. Like, you're going to have to work really hard.
Yeah.
But I even have somebody one of the students I used to work with doesn't even have his high school because he was his high school like diploma because he was homeschooled, but he like worked his butt up and got a job. Like it's like great. Like you can do it. You can absolutely do it, but you better be ready to work. Let me see. Okay, favorite Starbucks drink? You?
Favorite Starbucks drink?
That's a fun question, by the way. Thank you for that.
Sorry?
It's a fun question.
I
like that question.
Oh man. I'm not a huge coffee drinker. I'm gonna say that out the gate.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll just get black coffee or I'll get like the blonde roast, just like black drip coffee they have there. But if I'm feeling more like
guilty pleasure,
I'll like go with like because I'm plant based, so I go with the soy latte. So
I'm surprised it took you this long in this podcast to say that you're plant based.
I don't. Okay, this guy over here thinks I'm just like waving the flag. So soy latte. So good.
No, yeah. So, for me, I drink mainly black coffee. I always have since college because I thought my friends were doing it and I thought it was really cool and like manly.
You got peer pressure.
And then I just hated it at first and I just grew to love it. And then I used to make coffee too. I can talk about that another time. But then I guess my guilty pleasure is more of like a mocha or a like frappuccino for sure.
Dude, the fraps are like no joke. The fraps are no joke.
All right. Favorite streamers to watch. My favorite streamers to watch currently big streamer, Tim the Tapman's like, he's kind of like a freaking legend right now. I think we're in a really cool time of streamers, like big streamers, but also I don't really watch a lot of big streamers because I feel like I can't learn from them. They're in a whole other realm than me. Like it's not even close. Like it's not even how I should stream. How they stream is not how I should stream. So I watch them. I watch a guy named Zappity Zap. I was actually watching the stream right before we went live. I watch, I talk Fortnite. They're kind of like a lot of Fortnite people because I play a lot of Fortnite. Who else do I watch? There's some other people though. Pizzo's a great streamer, dude. The Pizzo and I talk Fortnite. I look up to them. Squatting Dog. Oh my gosh, that guy's crazy too. Like overall content creation, Squatting Dog is nuts. He has his own app.
Dude, that's
nuts. He's like an authority on like challenges for Fortnite. Like he just has really created himself a really cool spot.
That's cool.
And I look up to all those guys. I try to learn from their streams and stuff, even though they don't really know that, but I do. And yeah, I think it's I think for me, I try to watch smaller streamers. I pop into a lot of small streams because I want to watch and see what they're doing and see what I can learn from it. So. And
I think for me, my favorite streamers, like I always obviously my brother is one of my favorites.
Thank you. Yep, I was waiting for it.
He's legitimately entertaining, but I always really liked Day 9. So if you guys, he's a little bit of like a throwback. He does a lot of Magic the Gathering streaming now, but like we used to do StarCraft like back in the day, like 8 years ago.
Yep.
And I used to watch a lot of him. Tim the Tapman as well.
Yeah.
One of my faves. Like he's been one of my faves for a long time.
Yeah, Tony watched him before. It was like in
Overwatch. I
watched
watched him like when he was in Overwatch, like OG Overwatch days. Yeah. So I really like both those guys. They're really doing some cool stuff. But I think you touched on something interesting real quick though. Is like you're just really smart that you're saying like I can't really learn a lot. I don't want to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like my CEO was just talking about this in a meeting we had this week. He said he's like people can't do what I do now. Yep. They have to do what I did back then.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it is, really.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for those are actually really good questions. I appreciate that. We're probably going to end it there because Tony's got to get going to another meeting. But I appreciate you guys watching. Everyone on YouTube, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. We're going to just post this on the normal YouTube channel for now. And if you guys like this kind of content, let us know in the comments. And if you guys have any questions for us, we can actually read those on the next stream and stuff like that. So put them in there, or I'm sure someone's gonna have a tip on how to make this better. So let's do that. You guys can talk to me about that. And yeah, we just appreciate you guys watching. And we're gonna probably make this. I don't know if it's gonna be a weekly thing, but at least it'll be a bi-weekly. So, and if Tony can't be here, then I'll do it myself. And then, we'll figure it out. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the first episode of the Womcast, and I can't believe this is actually happening. So it's pretty cool. Cheers, Tony.
Cheers.